Coming up next on this edition of In the City. Trey Duke, principal of Salem Elementary, is named new director of schools. Also, Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission chairman steps down after 26 years. Plus, a city employee receives a state award right before he retires after 30 years with the city. And a Murfreesboro native helps to keep the story alive of a former slave who helped create a worldwide spirits brand. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. The Murfreesboro City School Board chooses Trey Duke as the new director of schools. Murfreesboro City Schools welcomes Salem Elementary principal Trey Duke as the new director of schools.
I'm super excited to have been chosen by the board to help lead Murfreesboro City Schools.
Duke, a Middle Tennessee native and MTSU graduate, started his career as an elementary teacher in Smyrna.
I've been a classroom teacher at the elementary level in several schools. I've been an assistant principal. I've been a principal of 2 different schools. I've worked at a district office managing and overseeing several different departments, from instructional side to the management and finance side. So I'm really excited about the background that I'm bringing to this position and to Murfreesboro City Schools to help bring all of those pieces together to move kids forward.
Duke replaces Dr. Linda Gilbert, who passed away in May 2020. He says he looks forward to continuing the great work Dr. Gilbert started.
I'm so blessed to have been hired on by Dr. Gilbert, and she has left a legacy here in Murfreesboro City. And so one of the great things is I don't have to start from scratch. It's going to be looking at the legacy she left. The focus is on the whole child, continuing to build off of that, to work with the great team we have in place at Central Office is really something I'm looking forward to.
Duke says he will miss being at Salem Elementary daily, but is excited for what's to come.
I know the great things that are happening at Salem are happening in our 12 other schools, and so I really look at this as much as I'm going to miss being in this building every day, at the opportunity to be in 12 other buildings besides just Salem and see the work we're doing here and seeing those great things magnified.
The school board will approve Duke's contract by February 9th, and he will start his new position April 5th. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. The city has changed rapidly over the years, and one commission member has been on the forefront of seeing the transformation.
Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission Chairman D. Jernigan stepped down after 26 years on the commission. His service started August 3, 1994, and became chairman August 6, 1997. Mayor McFarland recognized him at his last commission meeting.
Now, therefore, I, Shane McFarland, Mayor of the City of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim January 6th as D. Jernigan Day inside the City of Murfreesboro.
Scary time for Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
And I ask all the citizens and community to join this well-deserved recognition.
Thanks, it's much appreciated. I can assure all you guys and everybody the privilege has been all mine. It's been an honor. It doesn't feel like 26 years. I look back on it and it feels like yesterday that Joe B. and I were having lunch after the election in '94, and he asked me what I wanted to do and told me he wanted to get involved in something, and he was, I told him, I was like, Mayor Jackson, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And he said, well, I want you to serve on the Parks and Rec Commission. And I wasn't going to tell him no, and been there ever since. Got to serve with a lot of fine folks.
D talks about the many parks directors he's worked with over his 26 years.
Dennis Rainier was the director when I first started on the commission, and for probably the majority of the time while I was chairman even. And then Lanny Goodwin came in, of course, when Dennis retired. And then Angela and Nate came in after that. We've been very blessed, and it's one of the things that makes it special and sets it apart from other departments across the state and the southeast, is that we've got such long tenured employees, and that allows a lot of continuity in the department.
D served with the late Dennis Rainier the longest and had a special relationship with what many would call a legend in Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation.
You and I can remember Dennis when we were kids, working for Mr. Duffy, and Dennis back then was a kid. I mean, he was the one, I think, that really started us down the path of modernization and really taking our Parks and Rec department to the next level. I think certainly Lanny, Nate, Angela, they've continued that legacy and expanded it. But you go back to it and put your finger on it. Dennis was the one that started the ball rolling. He was a hard worker, and he had grown up in the department. He took a lot of pride personally in the product that we put out there, and being a resident of Murfreesboro, it goes back to the personal part of it. It was important to him, and I think he wanted to continue Mr. Duffy's legacy. My favorite story, when I first came on the commission, one of the very first projects that we approved and started working on was Patterson Park Community Center, and so now that's still to this day. I mean, it's even after all these years, it's a crown jewel. And but my favorite story is right where we are today in the Greenway system. I'll never forget the meeting where they first kind of brought this out. Bart Gordon was there. Bart was instrumental in getting some federal transportation monies as part of to make this happen. And I remember being a young guy sitting in that room, listening to some of the numbers that were being thrown around about what was going to be spent on this thing, and I'm looking over at this board thinking, we're going to spend this much money, taxpayer money, on a sidewalk by the river. What are we doing? And I laugh. I've said it 100 times over the past many years. I eat those words every day because I think that's one of the visions that Dennis had that really started taking the department and our facilities in a different direction, was that Parks and Rec was way more than a ball field. And I've said it a lot of times at commission meetings over the years. That's one of the blessings that we have in our community, that we've always had leadership, both departmental, city council, mayors, that supported this and saw the bigger picture. Because the quality of life that these leisure facilities have for our citizens in general is a true separator and what makes us different and better.
Dee reflects on his decision to step down after almost 27 years.
It was time. When I got to the 25th year, that kind of, was somewhat of a milestone. And, I felt it, just a little voice inside my head told me it was time. I'm grateful for the time that I had.
We all want to, as you say, go out on top, and one city employee did just that after dedicating his life to the safety of Murfreesboro residents. City of Murfreesboro Codes Inspector Trey was awarded 2020 Code Official of the Year by the Middle Tennessee Codes Officials Association. And they say timing is everything, because when we caught up with him at the job site, we found out he's retiring after 30 years with the city. What a way to go out.
I'm honored and proud. Kind of validates the hard work that we do every day. But everybody should be a code official of the year. So, my job is to enforce the building code, the minimum standards to have a safe structure for life safety, for stability structural-wise. When I first started, we were just local builders, and we were small. Now we've grown into where we've attracted a national attention. National builders are involved in the area, and they build a lot faster than your local guys do. Not necessarily worse, not necessarily better, but they go at a different pace. When you're enforcing the code, nobody wants to hear no. I've always tried to be fair and consistent with every builder, treat everyone the same. And sometimes you just have to say no, and it gets into a difficult situation. We work through it, and we go on. I certainly hope there's no hard feelings. I've not tried to go out of my way to be antagonistic or anything of that nature. It doesn't help anybody. I've seen young builders grow into successful businessmen, and proud for them, proud for the city of Murfreesboro as we grow. Growth is good, and so holding somebody up doesn't help anybody. If anything, it hurts the buyer that's wanting to move into that home. We do pride ourselves on is if you request an inspection, you get it that day. There's no lag time, there's no wait. So, you know, we work as hard and as fast as we can.
Trey tells us why he stayed in this job as long as he has.
Well, I enjoy working outside. I enjoy, you know, the building trades. I've always, you know, piddled myself in the business. It's something I was given an opportunity in 1991, and it just kind of blossomed from there. Meet different people every day, and help people.
Trey talks about his retirement and what he plans to do.
I hadn't really thought that far ahead. I've always wanted to volunteer with Habitat. You know, that way I keep my hand in actual building trades. Plus, I'm giving back a little bit to the community. I don't want to, you know, take the 30 years that I've just spent in the building business and forget about it. You know, if I can help, if I can teach, you know, that's what I want to do.
Mayor McFarland recognized Trey Axum at a city council meeting prior to his retirement.
I want to make one quick comment. I got an email, I think it was either this morning or yesterday morning, but the title of the email was "I'm Gone," and it was from Trey Axum from the Building and Codes Department. And so Trey is retiring on January the 29th, and Trey has been with the city for over 30 years in a number of various capacities. Whenever we went through a survey, an ADA survey throughout the entire city, Trey handled every bit of that. Trey has been on the commercial side of inspections. He's been on the residential side of inspections. So Trey has been one of our senior inspectors for many, many years. And I just want to make sure and publicly, I don't think you could drag Trey to a meeting to be able to stand out front and get an award. But I do want to make sure and publicly acknowledge, after 30 years, the majority of things that have been built inside this city, one way or another, I think Trey has been involved in inspecting those. And so I want to say thank you to Trey and his family for what they've done inside our city for the last 30 years. So thank you, Trey.
The legacy of Nearest Green, the former slave and man who taught Jack Daniels how to distill whiskey, is being continued today as his great-great-granddaughter plays a vital role in the spirits industry right here in Middle Tennessee. If you've driven Highway 231 between Murfreesboro and Shelbyville, chances are you've seen the beautiful farm that is the Uncle Nearest Distillery. But what you might not know is the amazing story behind it.
Nearest Green is my great-great-grandfather, and he is the man, the once enslaved man, who taught Jack Daniel how to distill.
Nearest Green's distilling process is famous worldwide, and in 2013, the state of Tennessee passed a law that any product labeled as Tennessee whiskey has to be made using this process.
He is known for the Lincoln County process. He brought that into the spirits industry, what we believe, from West Africa.
As Jack Daniels whiskey was becoming a hit, he and Nearest's friendship grew even stronger.
He and Nearest just developed a friendship, definitely an unheard friendship at that time, given that Nearest was a slave, Jack was a young white boy, and Nearest was about 28 years older than him.
Murfreesboro resident Victoria Edie Butler grew up in Lynchburg. She always knew of her family's legacy, but tells us it wasn't until the end of her law enforcement career and at the request of Uncle Nearest brand founder Fawn Weaver that Butler got involved in the spirits industry in 2019.
When I came aboard, the brand had already been launched 2 years prior. I was, really close to retiring from my current career, my current job then, and had a conversation with Fawn Weaver, and the rest, they say, is history.
This family, the Uncle Nearest brand, and its legacy continues to make history. From 2017 to 2020, the Uncle Nearest brand has won 125 awards.
From 2017 until now, we are the fastest growing American spirit in history.
And the first don't stop there.
We are the only brand who honors a black man who has his name on a label.
They are also the only American spirit brand who is run and owned by a black woman, and the entire executive team is female. Butler says she also wants you to know that the Uncle Nearest whiskey is for everyone.
I mentioned those first because they're important to us and they're important to the industry. But make no mistake, our brand is very diverse. we could not do this without the whole team.
Butler is the first African-American female master distiller in the country. She was recognized by the Murfreesboro City Council for not only her accomplishments, but those of her family.
So now, therefore, I, Shane McFarland, Mayor of the City of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim October 22nd, 2020 as a day to honor Victoria Edie Butler for her accomplishments and urge all citizens to join in the recognition.
Butler says all of this is part of God's plan. She says Nearest would be proud of what founder Fawn Weaver started and that his legacy continues.
Well, you know, whenever I'm asked a question about Nearest, I always get emotional. And hard as I try, it hasn't subsided yet. But I would like to think and believe that Nearest is proud of what we've done and what we are continuing to do. I think he would absolutely love Fawn Weaver. She is very bright and genuine, and her whole goal and mission for this team and for herself is to ensure that Nearest Green's name, his legacy, is never ever forgotten.
This really is an amazing story, and we're happy to bring it to you in honor of Black History Month that's happening this month. The Miracle Field Playground has been a very popular destination for kids of all abilities. Now the city is building another playground that will be just as exciting in the southern part of the county. Assistant Director for Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation addresses the commission about a great new addition to Barfield Crescent Park.
I'm thrilled to be able to stand here and tell you about this next agenda item. We were awarded the Blue Cross Healthy Place grant last month, and I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more about it. So Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthy Places goes around and builds these great playgrounds, and you can apply for a grant. It's $750,000 with no matching, which is just fantastic for us to be able to jump in on that. This, as I understand, is their 75th anniversary, and so they have awarded 10 different playgrounds throughout the state. So it's quite an undertaking, but we're lucky to be one of those recipients.
Blue Cross Healthy Place offers a number of different choices of playgrounds. Rachel explains the choice the department went with.
They offered great choices, and this one we looked at, and the inclusiveness of it really stood out for us. You know, we've got the Miracle Field on the north end of town, and this is obviously the far south end of town, so to be able to offer another playground that is inclusive, to be able to let all ages, abilities be able to take part in it was really important for us. I think this one will rival it. And then of course Barfield is our largest park that we have in our system. And now the southern terminus of the Greenway Trailhead is here. We've got the ball fields and the walking track, plus the nature trails and the wilderness station. So, I mean, it's just all gonna really come together in this park. And it's going to have 4 main features to it, so it will be a much larger playground than what we currently have here. 2 to 5-year-olds will have their own area, which is really important for parents, that they're not having to compete with the older kids, and they have some amenities that are just their size and from the safety standpoint. And then the next section will be ages 5 to 12 is geared towards, and that one is going to have a lot of climbing features, which I think the kids will really enjoy. It'll have a merry-go-round, slides, you know, all sorts of fun stuff for kind of that older age. And then it has a swing area, which I'm really excited about because honestly, I don't know if you've thought about it, but a lot of our playgrounds don't have swings anymore. And we get that comment a lot. You know, people are looking for swings and asking why our new playgrounds don't have them. And then the 4th section is the fitness area. And we've talked about doing that in our park system several different times, and the benefits of it, to be able to have the parents, you know, be able to work out while they're watching their kids. This whole area in Barfield is going to be closed until it's completed, and that's just going to keep for the safety. This is going to be a staging area for the construction equipment and the materials that they have to use. So for everybody's safety and for the workers to be able to get their job done, we've just closed off this whole section. So this month we'll do our site visit with the representatives from Blue Cross Blue Shield and Game Time, and then after that they will put a timeline together. But they're ready to kind of hit the ground running, and they'll start excavating and doing what they need to lay the foundation. And then depending on weather, we're hoping to have it open by early summer.
The Chris Young Cafe is finally open. The country superstar donated $50,000 for this space where students can create and have hands-on experience.
Standing on this campus and trying to write music.
It's an exciting day on the MTSU campus with the grand opening of the Chris Young Cafe.
To have a place like this that they don't have to go off campus to get to, that they can schedule events in, and really give them a place to call their own, I think is awesome.
My buddy Brandon holds a record.
Country superstar and Murfreesboro native Chris Young donated $50,000 to bring this vision to life.
It's one of the reasons that I'm so honored they wanted to work with me, and my name is on this building, because this is going to be a space for everybody.
The cafe will serve as a classroom, a lab for students to get hands-on experience, and also a music venue.
What I do with the students here is I bring them in, and then we actually plug things in, and this is attached to this, and this is what this looks like, and then they can experiment in a safe space.
Young, who graduated from MTSU in 2005, says he is honored to give back to the program that helped start his career.
This is one of the most amazing music and recording industry programs in the world, in my opinion, and it's my hometown, so I'm very, very happy that this exists.
Professor and director of the cafe, Frank Baird, says students can't wait to get started with classes here on Monday.
Stoked. If this was your classroom, they're like, yeah, let's go to class.
Young knows all too well what it's like to be a student dreaming of making it big. When we ask what advice he has for students, here's what he had to say.
Students going here don't need any advice from me, really. They got it figured out. But I would just say, the thing I was always told to do is write as much as possible, perform as much as possible, and this gives an opportunity to perform even more without having to go off campus and having to find somewhere else that's a venue space that they're going to feel comfortable in. So if I was going to give a piece of advice, man, make this your own.
A Tennessee Music Pathways marker in Young's honor was also unveiled, along with a mural dedicated to Young's famous friends, featuring some of Murfreesboro's legends as well. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. The Linebaugh Library is going through another closure of the building to keep their staff safe, but they are still open for business. Library branch manager explains. We are here with Linebaugh Library's Carol Gaddis to tell us all about the upcoming things here at Linebaugh Library. We're going to start out. Our plans had to change a little bit today because as of today through February, Linebaugh Library is closed to the public. However, there are still things going on. You can still take advantage of your services. So Carol, I'm going to let you tell us all about that.
Yes, as of today, Linebaugh Public Library is closed to the public. We are offering curbside service, so if you have books on hold that are available, you can still come curbside on the Church Street side of the library from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday, or Sundays 1 to 5 p.m. and you can get your books. You're also able to pick up a tax form if you need a 1040 tax form. That's the only one we have right now. We can still do notaries. If you need to use our driver's license kiosk on the second floor, we are going to allow people to use that. You do need to call our curbside number though when you come through, and we will escort you up there to use the kiosk.
Well, why don't you tell us all about some other good stuff? Carol and I were chatting the other day, and she was telling me all of these neat things that the library is still doing through closures and through COVID. And what better place to have fun things to do than free from your library when you've got to stay home?
Absolutely. And one of those regular things that we've been doing is our virtual story times that happen every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. You can go to our Facebook page and see those videos come up. Laura Loggins with our Youth Services Department is putting out those videos and have a story time. But before you even see those, your children can receive a quest kit, which is a craft and a paper about our theme for the week. And so you can come during those curbside hours we talked about and pick up a quest kit for your child to have an activity that goes with our story time for that week.
We're so lucky to have these great free resources right here accessible in Murfreesboro. I know one thing, Carol, you wanted to talk about are the community helpers.
Yes, thank you for reminding me, Michael Linn. I appreciate that. One of the great things that we have just seen throughout this time of the pandemic is how much the community helpers in Rutherford County are serving us and going the extra mile. So we are offering some specials for our community helpers, which includes our law enforcement personnel, firefighters, medical personnel, and teachers. If you visit any of our branches and show your professional ID or your badge, we will extend your checkout dates on your card through the month of May. We're going to do it for about the next 6 months, and you will have no fines on overdues.
That's good. So make sure to show that, and that's such a neat thing that you're doing for the community. Okay, so one thing we were going to talk about, our plans have changed a little bit, but I know a lot of people are always interested in the Friends of Linebaugh book sale. So is that going on?
Unfortunately, no, because the bookstore of our Friends of Linebaugh Library is so small. During COVID, we just cannot offer book sales, public book sales. They have been doing some other sales, but unfortunately, while we're closed, they're not going to be able to do that. So we're not accepting donations right now as well for our friends. So just hold on to those books you want to get rid of.
Well, Carol, thank you so much for joining us. We always love to be at the library. We're here inside today, and it's kind of quiet. We love the hustle and bustle when a lot of people are in, but again, to keep everyone safe in the community, they decided to close down because it is a busy location, but closing through February, and then we'll reevaluate. But again, remember, go to rclstn.org for all of the library information, closures, but you can still check out books, you can go to other locations, you can still take advantage of all the amazing things that our library system has to offer, including going to other branches that are open. Murfreesboro Municipal Judge Ewing was recently awarded the 2020 Sharon G. Lee Award of Excellence by the Tennessee Municipal Judges Conference. This award is presented to a municipal judge who has made a significant contribution to the conference over the course of his or her service on the bench. Judge Sellers is one of the founding members of the Tennessee Municipal Judges Association and has been an officer or committee chair of the conference since its inception. Judge Sellers was appointed municipal judge for the city of Murfreesboro in 1989 and has held this position longer than any previous Murfreesboro judge. He has maintained a private law practice in Murfreesboro since 1981. I am deeply honored and humbled to receive this award, says Sellers. Murfreesboro Water Resources employees Adam Todd and Cody Bell were named STARS Award recipients for December 2020. The STARS Award comes after they gave roadside assistance to a woman who became stranded on the roadway after she ran out of gas. Mayor Shane McFarland recognized Todd and Bell during the January 21, 2021 meeting of the Murfreesboro City Council with the STARS Award for Outstanding Performance, succeeding through attitudes reflecting service excellence. Todd has worked for the city since February 2006 and currently serves as an advanced metering infrastructure manager with the Operations and Maintenance Department within the Water Resources Department. Bell was hired as an AMI technician in October 2020. The American Red Cross typically has a tough time keeping the blood supply strong during the winter months. This year, the pandemic adds in another challenge. The Red Cross is urging healthy individuals to make an appointment to give blood or platelets. Every day, there are thousands of patients who rely on life-saving blood donations. The Red Cross follows the highest standards of safety and infection control, and volunteer donors are the only source of blood for those in need. Donors are urged to give now to ensure blood supplies are readily available for patients. Please go to redcrossblood.org and make an appointment. Just a reminder that City Hall offices will be closed Monday, February 15th in observance of the President's Day holiday. Recreational facilities, SportsCom and Patterson Park will be closed as well. Adams Tennis Complex and both Old Ford and VA municipal golf courses will be open. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.